Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
The name of this episode this week is Tension Rises. No, it's not. This is the New World Podcast, brother, brought to you by a paper Saber universe. I am KNB the Sexy Ninja. We're talking about SmackDown, November 24th, 2023, my birthday, with Michael Cole, Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves is back on commentary. Chicago, here we are at the Allstate Arena. A pretty sold out Allstate Arena, setting up for War Games. It is finally here. I'm so excited. I am beyond excited. It's going to be a rocking good night tonight for War Games. And this was a rocking SmackDown to get us where we needed to go. We start off with Becky, Charlotte, Shotzi, Bianca. They come out. And there's a little bit of tension in the group, especially between Becky and Charlotte. But they're here to fight. Damage control, in quotations, interrupts, but it's just Bayley. You know, it sets up our main event for this evening. Damage control versus Charlotte and Becky. You know, Becky's like, I'm not here to talk. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to fight. I'm here to go to war. So that is the thread throughout the show. Can Becky and Charlotte come together for tonight and come together tomorrow night for War Games? So this sets it up. We're backstage. Asuka, everyone's backstage, damage control wise. And, they're like, yeah, you know, what's, Dakota Kai goes, yeah, you know, well, we had an idea. Like, why don't you, Bayley, you're the one that you should fight and have Asuka fight with you. And then she's like, oh, okay, well, I thought it was going to be like y'all two, but okay, cool. You know, y'all, you know, let's just do this. And Bayley's like, okay, so it's Asuka and Bayley. Our first match of the night is the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships, the Judgment Day versus the Street Profits. Bobby and B-Fab watching on. This match was badass, but it ended kind of flat. Like a match that had some really great big spots, some high finish, like, you know, some really cool stuff in it. It ended sort of flat. The Judgment Day got the win on the Street Profits. Bobby Lashley's not happy. He does that little shake he does when he's angry, and he walks off. So what does that mean for the Street Profits? The Judgment Day is walking into War Games on a high. They still got their championship, you know, so I think that gives them a little bit more of an edge, and we're going to see them go to war tonight. Becky, Shotzi, Bianca, Charlotte backstage, the tension, the drama. Becky and Charlotte like, hey, man, you know, I answered the call, yeah, but, you know, then Bianca's like, no, I told her to call because Becky was mad that Charlotte's making calls in this. And she's like, hey, now you're speaking for me? You know, and Charlotte's like, no, that's not what I'm saying, you know. And Bianca's like, hey, girl, calm down. I'm the one that told Charlotte to call you. Oh, you're the one. And Becky just has this chip on her shoulder. And she's you know, it's just building. And it's just like, are they going to work together? Or are they not going to work together? And I kind of like that. Like the whole night I was just thinking, like I was glued to my phone watching the show. I was with my headphones on. I was like, okay, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Dragon Lee package, you know, showing off the awesomeness of Dragon Lee, the Lucha himself. Now we have the Grayson Waller effect. So Grayson Waller's out there. He's like, and Kevin Owens. Austin Theory comes out. This is some funny shit because Corey Graves is like, how long have I been gone? And shortly right after that, as soon as Austin Theory comes in, you know, he's acting like Kevin and Kevin's music and stuff like that. Here comes the real Kevin Owens. Grayson's like, whoa, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be suspended. He's like, yeah, but my suspension ended tonight. So here I am, and you invited me out to the show. You know, what's going on? I thought you were trying to, like, turn over a new leaf or this and that. They're like, no, we were just going to make fun of you throughout the whole show. And Grayson's like, yeah, we can kick your ass, huh, blah, blah. And they say LA Knight's name, and Kevin's like, you said a name, hinting at some foreshadowing and maybe for the future of War Games tonight. But he says, you know what happens when you say someone's name, right? And here he comes, LA Knight. Yeah. It goes LA Knight, and oh man, they get in a big old brawl, and it sets up Kevin Owens and LA Knight versus A-Town Down Under. Fun match, great spots. Kevin and LA Knight got the win. I'm hoping though for the future, this isn't a new tag team. I'm hoping that, because I don't want Kevin to get backed into another tag team. You know, it was cool with Sami Zayn because it made fucking sense. Like, there was a story to it. This here, I'm like, no, let's make this a one-and-done deal. They'll help each other out every once in a while, but they're not a tag team. So that was my fear about this, even though it was really cool to see these two come together to whip A-Town down under. Becky's backstage with Bianca, and Bianca's like, hey, come on. We got to get this together. We just need to come together for one night, you know, tonight and tomorrow, basically 2 nights. We need to come together, and we need to take on Damage Control and beat Damage Control and end Damage Control. So can you do that? Becky's like, you know, I don't know, blah, blah, Charlotte, blah. But she's definitely being more calm. And then next up, we have Carlito come out cutting a promo, and he's talking about his familia, Rey Mysterio, that was beat down, but here comes Santos, and Santos is so good. And I heard something about Santos that kind of got under my skin a little bit. Not with Santos. I love that Santos is this heel. You know, he's got the look. He looked like Scarface last week, you know. And, like, I just love heel Santos, but I heard through some grapevines and rumors is Humberto and Angel are gonna join him as a little bit of a stable. I'm like, no, please, God, no. Oh, no, I don't want that. Oh, no, no. I want Santos to be on his own, and I know they like creating these factions and stuff like that, but let Santos run as a heel on his own. That make him build a new team, you know, let him recruit Dragon Lee at some point, I guess, you know, let him recruit some other people, you know, he can recruit other wrestlers, not Humberto and Angel. Like, I like those two, but not enough to be with Santos, especially on this big heel run. I just don't want it. I just don't want it. And here you're going to hear me say this now, and then, like, on the flip side, I'll be like, man, this was the greatest decision ever. God damn it, big head boy. But this ended up from being a great promo between the two, you know, and then, like, backstage, like, Santos attacks Carlito, and Carlito, like, after their fight, because they started fighting in the ring, and then it went on to backstage, and then here comes Dragon Lee for the save, and in all of this, Carlito is not going to be able to wrestle at War Games because of the attack of Santos Escobar, but Dragon Lee will fill in that void for Carlito. So we got some story here with these two, you know, like, I'm like, let's go there. Let's not go Angel or Humberto. No. Let's go this way. Yeah, then we have Pretty Deadly versus the Brawling Brute. Something is up with Ridge. You know, ever since last week, ever since Butch accidentally hit him, he's a little different. He's a little like, you know, I'm a little mopey, but, you know, I'm here to fight because it's fight night, you know. But Pretty Deadly got the win. Ridge is nowhere to be found, and Butch is like, oh, okay, and I'm like, yeah, let's get Butch back to being Pete. Let's get Butch back to being Pete to wreck everybody in the ring, and Ridge can go off and do whatever. I like Ridge, you know. I think Ridge is really cool, but I want Pete back, if that makes sense. If y'all understand, I want Pete back. Charlotte and Shotzi backstage. Beautiful thing with Shotzi. She's like, hey man, even though her thing earlier in the starting of, you know, when they all got apart on the mic at the starting of the show was a little bit where she's like, I'm crazy. Look at me, I'm crazy. And they thought they could destroy me. And I was like, bring it down. But I like this Shotzi with Charlotte. She's like, hey, you were there for me when my hair was cut off, and, you know, you picked me back up, and there was a nice little hug between Charlotte and Shotzi in this moment. I was like, okay, be that deranged, like, you know, emotional, you know, Charlotte's that emotional support, and she tries to tell them, like, hey, we just need to come together, you know, and fight Damage Control and Damage Control. And I thank you, Charlotte. You know, she goes, I thank you for picking me up and you know, taking me under your wing and building me up. It means the world to me. And just, come on, you and Becky just need to get your shit together. You know, that's the shots I like. Not that I'm crazy, you know. Tone it down just a bit. Nick Aldis backstage interview. He has a lot going on his plate. You know, he's trying to get orders together. I haven't seen much of Nick. I've seen more of Adam than I have of Nick, you know, in the past few weeks. So I hope we have something cool with them lined up backstage for War Games. Judgment Day backstage promo, you know, saying like, hey, We run SmackDown. We run the whole thing. The Judgment Day is going to walk in. Mommy's going to win her championship match. We're going to win War Games. And remember, the Judgment Day rules all. And then we have Charlotte and Becky backstage one more time. And they're like, okay, you know what? Put the past behind us. Let's do what we need to do. Let's fight tonight, and we'll just get it done and move on. And you're like, okay. So mutual. Now they're on both. They're both on the same page. There's a pinky promises, there's handshakes, there's everything. They're like, okay, we're on. Now we're in the main event. Damage Control, Bayley and Asuka versus Charlotte and Becky. And I'll talk about it in my picks and predictions. So I thought this main event was fun. And it wasn't like the greatest women's tag team match, but it was telling a story of Charlotte and Becky. There were some moments where they had, ran into each other and stuff like that. Damage Control got the win. The tension rises. That's why I want this. The name of this episode for SmackDown is The Tension Rises. Oh, yes, of course, the tension rises between Charlotte and Becky. What will they do tomorrow night? Stay tuned. That's what this show told me. What's going to happen between Charlotte and Becky in that cage? And I'm excited. I honestly give the show a solid 5 out of 5. I had a fucking good time from top to bottom. My favorite match of the night was Kevin Owens and LA Knight versus A-Town Down Under. Next to that was Pretty Deadly and the Bronx Brutes. I really loved the Carlitos and Santos Escobar segment. I thought the world of it. The WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship was fun until the end. It kind of just fell flat. But overall, great, solid show for us to go to War Games. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Now we're going to go into the picks and predictions. And we're in Chicago, and I was just like, oh yeah, Dynamite was in Chicago, but not the same arena, because we're in the Allstate Arena for WWE, which is a huge arena, and they changed the stage and everything like that to add more seats and stuff. So let's get on to the picks and predictions for War Games.
Oh, Jim! 10 competitors, 2 rings, 1 cage, no holds barred.
Survivor Series 2023 War Games in Chicago. Here we go, baby. This is my picks and predictions. I go through the matches from top to bottom, not in exact order of how the show's going to go. That's what I usually find out if I'm right, if I'm wrong. But let's get right into it. The Intercontinental Championship, The Miz versus Gunther. I think this is going to be The Miz's best match out of his career. One of the best matches out of his career. Probably the top of tier. I think Gunther is going to take Miz to the next level of, him being 20 years in the game in WWE. But I know Gunther's going to retain that championship. And, but he's going to earn some respect from The Miz, because The Miz is going to go toe-to-toe with Gunther. That's what I feel in this match. He's going to show that Gunther, like, hey, I respect the mat as well. It is sacred to me as well. Even though I'm a superstar, I can go. So these two are going to probably have one of the best Intercontinental Championship matches of the year. I'm excited. I love The Miz. And I really love Gunther. My wife hates it because when Gunther comes on, I'm like, Gunther, Imperium, the Ring General. She's like, calm your ass down. I'm like, no, it's Gunther. Show respect in this house. Now, Santos Escobar was versus Carlito. Now it's versus Dragon Lee because Carlito got hurt. But it's going to be Santos Escobar. And I think this is where I was talking about earlier, Humberto and Angel, coming in and helping, and this is the new stable he's created, whatever. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. But, it's circulating, and those kind of things can happen. It is WWE, but I think Santos is going to get the win. It's getting more an advantage, and then we're eventually going to see down the road Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar in a big brawling match, to in this feud that he has with the LWO. And I like what he told Carlito. I was like, yo, I got the shit tatted on my hand, huh? That's family, bruh. But yeah, so Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar, and we're going to continue this feud with the LWO, and Santos is going to build his army, And, we're going to go toe-to-toe with LWO, with Carlito and Rey Mysterio and stuff like that. So this story ain't over. I don't think the story's over, too. I think the story will be over with The Miz and Gunther because they've been having some really great back and forth, but he's going to gain the respect of The Miz and be like, you know what? You took me to the next level. I appreciate that. Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. Not much storytelling between these two. Little backstage stuff here and there. Zoe's like, hey, you're taking your eyes off the prize. Because the Judgment Day has got a lot going on in storytelling and stuff like that. Her attention is not towards Zoe. There hasn't been really some great promos between the two and stuff like that. And I think just because they're kind of dropping the ball on this match, Rhea Ripley's going to retain. I don't see Zoe Stark walking out with that championship whatsoever. Unless Zoe cheats. I think Rhea Ripley's going to remain our champion just so Rhea Ripley can have some more momentum going into War Games later on that night. So that's just my feeling. And I know we're starting off War Games with either the men's... I think we're starting off with the women's War Games. That's going to be the starting of the show, and the end of the show will be the men's War Games. Or unless they don't do that, kind of bookending each other. But we shall see. Let's get into the women's War Games match. Damage Control versus Charlotte, Shotzi, Becky, Bianca. I have a fucking feeling we're going to see Mercedes Moné or Sasha Banks. Sorry, I've been so used to I had to train my brain. When the wrestler goes over, it's like Adam Copeland. Like I kept calling him Edge, but I'm like Adam. But if we see Sasha, I think that's going to be huge in Chicago. Huge. And I think this is where we're going to reveal her. I just got that feeling that Sasha Banks is coming back to WWE. I know she's squashed the rumors. I know she said no, and ain't going to happen, but we'll see. Never say never in this business, brother. But Women's War Games, I know it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I'm picking Damage Control, but also, too, Damage Control winning, and I think Bayley's going to look weak in certain aspects of this match to the point to where they're going to replace Bayley with Sasha. That's my theory. That's my prediction, that Bayley is going to be the weak link in this match, almost losing the match a few times. Then Damage Control is going to turn on Bayley inside the ring, and then here comes Sasha Banks, and she is the new leader of Damage Control, and that's my pick and prediction for that. I think Damage Control is going to win, but they're going to kick Bayley out, and, and maybe as they're beating her down, Charlotte, Becky, Bianca, they go and save her, pull her out, and the damage is done. We have a new leader of Damage Control. Huge night, right? I'm predicting a lot. We shall see. So, that's my feeling there. The Judgment Day with Drew McIntyre, Men's War Games versus Cody, Jay, Seth, Sammy, and the return of Randy Orton, the Viper. It's gonna be. They're already selling his merch too. As soon as they announce it, they're like, "Bam! Here you go." Already spent too much money, so I don't have any. I cannot buy anything. I had a really nice Randy Orton shirt that said RKO in the front, NWO style, and it had his back tattoo on the back of the shirt. I love that shirt so much. I wore that shirt everywhere, just because I was in love with Randy Orton. Oh yeah, baby. I am picking Cody, Jay, Seth, Sammy, and Randy winning this match just because of the fact of Randy Orton's return. I don't think bringing Randy into this he's going to lose this match. Or unless he turns on somebody, because remember, we still have that card in hand of Jay when they announced that Randy Orton was going to be the 5th member of this group. Jay's face was like, oh, shit. He's that face of like, oh, roll up the window. I don't know about this. Ooh, so I don't know about this. This ain't yeet. This ain't yeet. So we still got that card in hand. I'm picking Cody, Jay, Seth, Sammy, and Randy for the win over the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. But I feel this is the rumors, the speculations. I'm just throwing it out there because somebody said he has to be in Chicago. He lives in Chicago, right? Because I saw somebody tweeted out, like, I saw CM Punk in Chicago. But I was like, doesn't he live there? So, of course, you're going to see him. But this is where, what if, this is the WWE's what if. This is where CM Punk comes out. Gets in the face of Seth freaking Rollins. There's some real tension and real rivalry there because Seth does not like Punk. He calls him Phil, and everything like that. And I'm like, that got all my tingly winglies, everything going off. And how would WWE, the crowd itself, are they as forgiving as an AEW crowd? Because AEW crowd was not as forgiving. It was split down the middle. It was like you booed him, you cheered him, and that was it. And he had a fabulous last run until everything happened. Tony's life was in danger, so remember that. That's what Tony's words were. He felt that. But, and also, too, if a CM Punk was to come to WWE, there's restrictions. Is Phil cool with that? Because I know Phil respects and loves this business. He's also said some great things of like, hey, I've got the approval of Harley Race. That's all I fucking need. I don't need anybody else. Harley Race gave me his blessings, and that's all I need. So we shall see, man. I'm so excited for War Games. I tell everybody my birthday's coming up. I'm like, fuck my birthday. This is where it's at. We're gonna watch it live. I can't wait to review it afterwards. This is gonna be a rocking good night. War Games. I hope you're excited as I am, because I remember when they first announced this and with the Black Sabbath song and everything. Oh, can't wait. Here we go, baby. Survivor Series 2023. Those are my picks and predictions. Tell me what you think. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down there Walmart. I am KMB the Sexy Ninja. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet NWP logo. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Bianca better get in there. Becky Lynch and Charlotte better get on the same page ahead of tomorrow's War Games.